A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel, the Twinflame Union. In this particular session, I'm actually guided to share with you guys, relay with you guys some kind of message decoding, which in my last channeling, just the one before this, I had read out a note to you guys, a tape from a movie called The Lift. And I feel that it is a message for the twin flame community. Though it's a very regular movie, it's not even like a 2 hours movie, it's a 53 minutes movie, and very simply made with just two characters stuck inside an elevator. But this science fiction somehow focuses on the twin flame journey. And why I am sharing all this is because just before I saw the movie, I had asked a question to the universe, to source, that why is it so important for twin flamers to do this together? Like, why do we need a divine masculine? Why do we need a divine feminine? Why do we need this all the 7 steps, right from recognition to union? And why are so many people troubled about the union? Why can't they get it right? Or what is this runner-chaser dynamic? And why are so many people doing this for so many years? Why some are so frustrated in it? So why can't a person do it all by themselves? Like, why do we have to do it with 2 people? And this was a very simple question, and I asked this question, and then I don't know why it was so late in the night. I was about to sleep, and suddenly I had this urge to watch this movie. And this movie just popped out of nowhere because no one had recommended it to me. It's not like I had read a review. It's just that I wanted to watch a good science fiction. I was not in a mood to watch a horror movie or a comedy. Romantic movies are something that I just cannot tolerate, to be very honest. So, or emotional drama or emotional stuff. So I was looking for something really good. And I was like, I don't want to watch something like a series, which has so many episodes. So everything just seemed perfect. And when I started watching the movie, I was not that interested. But just because it was a science fiction and I was somehow attracted to it. I don't know why, but I was so drawn towards it. So I know it was perfect divine timing, and universe was trying to give me some message which did not clear out to me till the time the end did not come. Once I saw the movie's end, and especially the tape, everything made sense because it was a perfect answer to my question. It literally explained in 53 minutes why some people, in order to ascend, they have to do it together. And even the characters in the movie, they are going through some kind of a runner-chaser dynamic. When they talk about their relationship or when they confess to each other all the secrets and all the wrong things they had done, they do mention that there were times when she went away, the girl went away, she was the runner probably. And she also hooked up with her ex-boyfriend. And this man, he had probably spent all her money on a lottery ticket or something. So they confess about many things and they kind of forgive each other because they have to get out of the time loop. So now I want to decode this note to you. In the previous session, I spoke about how this journey is being done by 2 people and how after a point you start enjoying it. A lot of people tell me, people ask me this question. I want to be happy too. I want to feel this unconditional love, this one love. What is this? And you can't experience this happiness or you can't experience this gratitude until and unless you don't realize that all the bad things that have happened to you, every single bad thing that has happened to you, has actually led you to the door, to the gateway of unconditional love. And when you feel unconditional love, it is such a beautiful thing. It is so amazing. Nothing can be equal to it. Nothing can be compared with it. It comes with devotion, it comes with purity, and it also comes with a lot of courage. And in some cases, and you can ask other genuine twin flame healers or coaches also about it, in some cases, the 2 people, the masculine and the feminine, they start enjoying their life so much, they start loving it so much, the adventure of living every single day on planet Earth, the adventure of how things unravel, the adventure of how even on days when you're crying or you're unhappy or you're mad at something or somebody, how it changes into a state of forgiveness or love or compassion, happy tears, just the feeling of gratitude of being in this situation. At one time, people are upset. Why am I in twin flame journey? What is this? Blah, blah, blah. I hate it. There is no joy. I was imagining. That's because they are living their lives based on the societal programming patterns. The reptilian extraterrestrials have created a sort of a web of lies. It's the illusion. They offer this illusion to pure souls so that the pure souls get trapped in it. Since birth, the pure souls are told that love is like this, love is like that, and romantic love is a really low frequency type of love. It is the worst thing that you can ask for. And what are people doing? Even wise people, intelligent people, they ask for romantic love, which is, in my opinion, I obviously never liked romantic love. So a huge reason of why people in ascension like you and me and a lot of us, we suffer is because in childhood we somehow learn or we somehow pick it up despite not wanting to believe it. We see it in our parents, we see it in some other couple, we see even in couple who are in courtship or they're dating. In school we see these dynamics, in college we see these dynamics, and then we are ourselves trapped in this dynamic, and it only takes a lot of pain to get out of these toxic relationships. The purest reason why and the actual reason why, and I want to decode this for a lot of you, because this message or this type of channeling, this type of channeling is also very interesting. I get channelings via frequencies, so that is completely different type of experience. There are channelings that comes from all places, different types of places, readings and people and this and that. But when you ask a question, like you ask a question and 5 minutes later you have this strong urge to watch a movie. And in the end of the movie, you get a message, a letter from a man to a woman who's doing an experiment, who's a scientist. We are all scientists in this journey, let me tell you. I call all of us the nature scientist. I even got a trademark, copyright logo of this. As an artist, you're very, sometimes you want to do everything like this, get a trademark, get copyright. But I was very fascinated by this term, the nature scientist. And I remember there was once I was in a retreat, in a silent retreat for 8 days. And I was getting some clairvoyance messages. You can just Google what is clairvoyance. There are people who get clairvoyance messages like in form of audio sounds, and there are some who see the visions. There are some who get into a dream-like state. There are some who get into astral projections. So I've been into combination of all of these things without even literally knowing what I was actually doing. So I remember there was this clairvoyance message, very clear message, when I was contemplating on doing something about the nature scientist, but I really did not know what to do. So I was thinking that maybe I should just open up a school or a gurukul or something. But I was at that time thinking that who's gonna, work with me on this? Who's gonna be in my team? And I was sitting under a tree. I still remember I was like silent for about 7 days, had no conversation with anyone. And I'd reached it. This place was in Jaipur. I'd reached there, 2 days early. And when I went there, I was told that, the course is, how come you landed up early? The course is after 2 days. I said, okay. So for 2 days, they gave me a room in the corner of a forest somewhere. I was all alone, just used to go to the mess for dinner or lunch or anything. It was a protected area, not like I was literally in the woods or something. But I was all by myself. And for those 2 days, also I was silent and alone and just in my own self. This is the kind of life I always loved. So back then, I used to go to retreats, silent retreats especially, so that I don't have to interact with anyone. I can just enjoy those vibes. It's not easy. after listening to this audio, I'm sure a lot of you would want to go for a silent retreat. And after going to this silent retreat, you would actually think about me and say, this is the girl who got us here. And why did she do this to me? So I'm telling you in advance, silent retreats are not easy. But everyone has some quirks. I really enjoyed it. I still would love to do it, but now I'm so busy with my mission work, I don't think I can get one day of silent retreat or even few hours with all my animal friends, with all the work you're doing on YouTube or otherwise in general life. Then there's writing and there's so many things are happening at the same time that it's difficult to go anywhere without creating a system in place. Because I don't want that behind my back, any of these friends, my family members, my soul group, my animal friends have given me so much. I don't think I would have ascended in this journey without them. They are the reason I got ascended. And you look at any Hindu deity or god, they inspire me because of this deeply, because all of them hang out with animals. Shiva is Pashupatinath. Ram, we know Sri Ram, his best friend, his confidante, is Hanuman, who's from the animal kingdom. In fact, in Sri Ram's story, Ramayana, Ram and Sita both were constantly helped by the animal world friends. So they're so committed, they're so loyal, they're so loving, there's so much unconditional love in their eyes. You look at a cow and look at the cows, only the eyes, beautiful eyes. You won't see those type of eyes anywhere else, and she's so full of compassion. The positive energy is so high in a cow that the cow is constantly breathing in and breathing out oxygen. Just imagine the level of purity these animals have. So these animals are getting tortured on planet Earth. We can live with them, we can cohabitate with them, and I know there is a lifestyle where you can even drink milk. Like there are so many people who follow veganism because they feel that the cows are getting tortured. But what if they're told that the cow is not getting tortured and she's happily giving the milk to humans? Sometimes when there is now I'm going to talk about this also quickly. Sometimes as a child I have personally seen it. If you have a cow in your house or you have some buffaloes and they reproduce, even they cannot give all the milk to the calf. Their milk bags, they get heavy. So it's good if the humans are around and humans can tend to the cow. They can give her the best grass when she's in her pregnancy time. And the cows are also very attached to humans. This is what I saw. Now what the dairy farm people do is, which is atrocious, which is horrible, they kill the male calves because they feel that there's no need, there's no use of them. But in a society, in a world where animals and humans live together, the calves don't have to be killed. They can help with the farms, they can help in the plowing. Back in those days, in my grandparents' farms, that's how it used to happen. So we used to live together, all of us. We would care for them, they would care for us. Every day, there were these children, who had duties. So they would take the cows out for a walk, like how we take the dogs out for a walk. They would do that, and they would all go to the forest. And I remember once I went to the forest with these people, with all the kids who were tending to the cows, and it was a beautiful day. The whole forest was full of wild berries, which are obviously you can eat them. So we were collecting the berries, and there's this beautiful river stream, and all these still exist. Some of my cousins do it daily. They do video calls, and I'm just like, wow, I wish I could be there. And even 2018, I spent about 8 months doing these type of things. But then, as I said, I'm busy with the mission work. So whatever is happening with me right now, it's beautiful. I don't think I would want to trade it with anything else right now. But I do talk to them, and, I see that life, going to the woods, picking the berries, sitting by the river, and there one or two, somebody is playing a flute or somebody is a good singer. So in the forest, those sounds are just echoing. And there is also fear that there could be a wild animal around who could be dangerous. But then you enjoy it. It's not like how they show in movies. Animals are not as dangerous as human beings are. But human beings just make the animals look very horrible and scary, and I don't know what all they do, but that's not true. Anyway, so all of this is all compassionate beings who inspire us, like Shiva, like Ram, like Krishna, all the goddesses, all of them, their vehicles, their friends are some or the other animal, from the animal kingdom. Like Lakshmi's vehicle is the owl. Saraswati sits with the swan. Durga, Kali, they have the lion and the tigers. Nandi bull is best friend of Shiva. And Krishna loves his cows so much that a lot of people actually say that Krishna used to play flute for people, but actually he used to play the flute for the cows every time he used to take them out for grazing. And Ram, of course, his whole army was full of monkeys and basically mutation, half bear, half human, half monkey, half human. Even the birds, Jatayu, all of them, they helped Lord Sri Ram. So now coming back to this letter, which we are decoding today, which is a beautiful letter actually. So I've already read it out, but I'll reread it while I explain it. So my love, if one day, I don't know, if one day the director listens to these channelings, he would be so happy that, okay, I am actually contributing to the Twin Flame community without even knowing it. So my love, if one day you ever find yourself listening to these tape, it will mean that the experiment has succeeded. Now, what is the experiment here? The symbolism of experiment here is what we are doing on planet Earth as nature scientists. We are all scientists. We are all nature scientists. We are here to observe our own nature, which is made of 5 elements, right? Air, water, earth, fire, and ether, which is the soul. Without the combination of these 5 elements, a nature being cannot be created. Be it a human, be it an animal, be it a tree, all nature beings are made of these 5 elements. So when you observe the nature within, you are actually observing the nature everywhere. A lot of people tell me, and I have also mentioned it, that when I go to the mountain or when I go to the woods or when I go to the beach, I feel nature everywhere. They don't understand that nature is also in these buildings, in the cities, everywhere. And I have noticed people who know how to live in alignment with nature, they create nature everywhere they go. They live with animals, they live with plants, they live with all kinds of birds. They eat healthy, they eat good food. Even if they are living in a polluted city, their life is completely aligned. How do they manage to do it? That's the magic. They found the nature within themselves. So some people live in the middle of a city, but they have a beautiful garden. They have a beautiful terrace garden, or they have a beautiful kitchen garden. And it's amazing how they do it and inspire so many people around. So every person has a frequency, and no matter where you are, like right now you could be in America, you could be in UK, you could be in Australia, you could be in any other Africa, you could be in Europe, you could be in India, you could be in any part of the world right now. And wherever you are supposed to ascend from there without escaping from there, without running away from there. So that's what a nature scientist does. Okay. So now in this, there is an experiment that the masculine has conducted, and he's basically created a time machine. Now, I'll tell you what my understanding of this whole experiment is, which I don't think the director or the writer would have probably thought also. But I know you all from the Twin Flame community will realize and understand how sometimes messages are sent to us via songs and via movies or via some kind of happenstance. So he says, my love, if one day you ever find yourself listening to this tape, it will mean that the experiment has succeeded, but it won't matter. I failed because we aren't together anymore and I can't take it anymore. So this is a masculine who is going through separation. Okay. And why has he created this invention or this time machine or this loop, which is actually working on its own? So 2 people in this movie, protagonists who are in relationship, they walk into this lift with a whole lot of problems, with a whole lot of running and chasing around they have done, and so many experiences they've had, but they love each other. And that's pretty clear by the end of the movie that they both actually love each other, because they forgive each other, they accept each other for who they are, and then they decide from there on. And they don't even have the memory. Once they get out of the elevator, they don't know what all happened inside the time machine. So they get into the elevator as two different people, fighting, angry, arguing, upset, and when they step out, they're so changed. They transform inside that elevator. So which means that this man has actually created a wonderful experiment or a wonderful invention for people who are supposed to be in unconditional love. All right. So basically what happens here is, he says that when we moved here, you thought that I would be working only as a buildings keeper, a building superintendent, something temporary. So when we get into this twin flame thing, or we come to this planet, we know that we don't even have the memory. We don't realize what we are doing. A lot of us have totally forgotten our previous life or our previous who we are and where we come from. Actually, I feel that this ascension journey starts kicking into our life when we start questioning, who are we? What are we doing here? Like, what is this happening to me? You don't just question it in the twin flame journey. I am sure about that. Many of you have questioned this in childhood. Many of you have also questioned it when you wake up in the morning. And sometimes you wake up in the morning and you have no memory of who you are. You have to actually look around in your room. You have to look at yourself. You have to figure it out that, okay, where is this place? And suddenly after 5 minutes, it all comes back to you. Sometimes it happens in normal life also, that people just, they figure it out. They wake up in the morning, every morning, they feel like they're coming back into their body. And slowly they're opening up to some dimension, which is earth, basically. So where do they go? Where do we travel every night? Why do we sleep in a certain way? Why is sleep so important? Why people who are in ascension journey, later on, they don't need to sleep so much. Or when they sleep very sound. They have so much energy. Like if you look at other people, if they don't sleep properly, I'm just giving an example by my own experience also. Your energy increases when you are in ascension, especially after surrender stage. Once you have surrendered, you can do so many things, because you can only get tired if you're in control, right? If you're an egotistical person, you'll get tired very fast. Then you can't fall to sleep. So you have to take a lot of pills and medicines and alcohol and I don't know, so many things just to go off to sleep. But people who are in ascension, they sleep easily. I look at my dogs and I really get inspired from them, that how dogs can just sleep anytime they want. Anytime they want, they can go off to sleep. And puppies also, they sleep so much. And when they wake up after sleeping, they're jumping around, they're running around, they're playing, and then they eat, then they get tired and they sleep again. They literally have nothing to do as such, they don't have to worry about earning money, paying the bills, or they don't have to, and that's why probably the lifespan is also shorter, because they are just here to spread unconditional love to anyone who's around them or attached to them or close to them. Attached is not a right word. Anyone who is basically cohabiting or coexisting with them. So when you don't know, you think it's temporary, right? So he says, I never told you the truth. I was so close. I had to finish my experiment and I thought it was best to hide it. Everything seemed so perfect. And then I'll stop here. Now, when you are in this whole materialistic trap, in the sansaric, in the worldly world trap, you think that everything, your materialistic accomplishments, your materialistic goals are the most important. They are of prime importance. They are everything for you. So you spend all of your time, you spend all of your efforts, not you as in you specifically, I mean humans. Humans spend so much time and effort and energy. And I really feel people who want to be famous and popular and extremely wealthy, they don't have any other motivation. And why do they do this? They do it for their ego satisfaction. They do it because they want to get validation from other people, and that's how they survive. The energy is very lower frequency based energy. It's the more a person is clinging on to the identity, to the physical identity, like, this is me and this is my life and this is who I am. And I'm not talking about your soul, I'm talking about your bodily identity. And then they do so much. They spend so much money, they spend so much time, they spend a whole PR machinery around them. A whole PR machinery around them that focuses only on the image of a person, the social image or the public image of a person, how they come across to others, and they're always trying to be so perfect. And then I just don't like the image, the goody good image they show to the world, that I'm so good, I'm a good person. Like so many of these celebrities, they have millions of dollars, maybe they have so much influence, but I see all of them have opened some kind of charity, or they're trying to collect money. What do they do with that money? Do they even give it to the poor people? I wonder. I think about it. If they do, then great, it's a great thing. But even that charity, or even all the donations they do, or the money collection they do, I mean, they don't need to collect money. They have money, they can give it to anyone who needs it, but they don't do that. While they have so many $1 million in their banks and they're living in huge mansions and this and that, they're still like, oh, I'm wanting to collect money for the cause, so everybody please, give money. And I think that, why don't you give some money first? But this also they do for a public image, for a social image, to come across as a good person. I think it's really cool. You're very courageous if you can be a badass. You don't have to be like a cruel person, always fighting with people. But when you meet a cruel person, or when you meet a total fake person who's full of ego, pride, vanity, you don't have to get impressed by them. You can actually make them feel that I'm not impressed by you at all. Or don't think that you are doing something really great and something that's wow for me. But this is what they live on. This is the energy they live on. And then they spread out this message, like 10 celebrities are capable enough to actually make 10 million people get delusioned to live their lives. And some of them are really good. I'll tell you how. They actually turn it around. Because when they get into this lifestyle, this horrible lifestyle, they go through abuse. They may be getting name, fame, money, recognition, awards and this and that. But some of them actually go through a very hollow feeling within. They feel very dark, they feel very hollow, they feel very depressed. They have to take drugs and they have to drink alcohol all the time. Like a lot of these celebrities, you watch their lifestyles, they're constantly drinking. Like Kardashian especially. They're always either promoting alcohol or they're always drinking alcohol. I really wonder, with all the makeup, with all the cameras around, how can you be drinking so much and still be normal? It can't, it can't be. How do you manage to do that? How does anyone manage to do that? And they're not the only ones like that. Literally all of them are like that. Even if you go to Bollywood or Hollywood, wherever you go. Then when you look at the politicians, there is so much power around them, They're always playing with power. But is that really power? I mean, if you think of it. An enlightened master or a saintly person, they don't even have that vibe or that aura around them. And sometimes I feel bad for these people because they're so unhappy, they're so hollow, they're so depressed, they're taking so many medicines, taking so many pills, trying so hard, to be somebody or to maintain that position. Another thing that they suffer from is that once you reach to a certain place, like, okay, I'm this famous, I have these many followers, you can't step down from it, right? So a whole lot of energy goes into creating a system where they have to maintain that position of power or maintain that image or, beauty standards. They can't grow old, they can't look a certain way. But when they do all the Botox and plastic surgery, it is so obvious that they have done Botox and plastic surgery that their beauty or their youth is not real. All these women who are getting fake breast implants or fake asses, fake skin, like I'm sure their life must be painful. They don't show it to others that their life is painful, but there is a lot of pain in doing that. And there are so many testimonies or testimonials by teenagers or young people who followed them, and then they probably had a very bad experience. They ruined a certain part of their skin, or they had a horrible experience. Maybe somebody took some lip injection and their lips were swollen up for months. They were in pain. They couldn't even smile. So how do they do it so well? Because they have a team of people doing it. They have the best surgeons. They have the best cosmetic surgeons. They have the best PR people. They have the best marketing people. So they have to really run a very expensive PR machinery. So people get inspired by that. And now what happens to humans, regular, common humans? They are stuck in this loop. They are stuck in this loop of maintaining survival. So first you have to be a person who can survive. And then you look at all of these wealthy people, famous people, rich people, powerful people, and they go like, oh, I wish I could be like them. I wish I could be like that. And instead of enjoying their life or their struggles or whatever they learn, all their focus and energy goes into, I want to be like them. They don't want to be like who they are, but they want to be like somebody else. So I find it very sad when I see young children, and I've done that too when I was a teenager, by the way, getting all the posters of some Hollywood actors or Bollywood actors and then putting it in their room and then admiring it and then going like, oh, I'm this person's fan. I love this person. I wish I could get an autograph for this person, or things like that. I mean, they are not loving them out of unconditional love. There's no unconditional love, because the love is for the identity, towards the identity, the attachment towards the identity, right? So we are all stuck in this. It's not like only they are. So some of those celebrities who I really admire have actually spoken about their struggles. They've actually told people that, yes, I do have depression problem, or I have taken anxiety medicines, or at one time I was very famous, but I don't think I can live that type of life anymore. I'd rather be a stay-at-home mom, or I'd rather live alone, or I'd rather live away from the limelight, or I'd rather travel in an ordinary metro. And see, even if I'm traveling in a metro, there is no paparazzi around me. There are no people going crazy to get a photo of me, because all of that is paid. All of that is paid paparazzi. You pay them, you tell them like, hey, I'm going to be at this event at 6 o'clock in the evening. You better be there. So 200 people are there to get a picture of them. But actually, do you really need to do that? No. So there are so many people who were famous or who were successful in those standards, like the materialistic, worldly standards. They got the taste of that, and then they told others, take it just like a job. It's just like going to a 9-to-5 job. Instead of going to that job, I'm coming here and doing this whatever, acting or dancing or singing or some kind of, it is just an expression for me, but this is not who I really am. So they have made these type of statements, and they've inspired people. Then there are people who have failed miserably. They committed suicide. They died, or they wrote songs. In those songs, they mentioned how unhappy they are or what a charade this world is. And then they took way too much drugs and alcohol, and they died very young. There's a huge whole club of such people who died very young in their late 20s. But they all wrote about the big illusion, because back in those days, they managed to get it early, They were talented, so they managed to become a pop star or a rock star by the age of 20, 22. So by the time they reached towards their late 20s, they had already done everything. They were bored of it. They were stuck in it. They could not get out of the loop. So in the twin flame journey, we have to get out of the loop. When you are in the false twin dynamic, that's when this loop looks like a never-ending loop. It just goes on, and the runner-chaser dynamic just goes on and on and on and on and on. It's like, when is this going to end? But when you become courageous, bold, and confident, and you have faith, when you learn to develop faith, you're able to get out of this loop. So till the time, I think these two people are stuck in that loop, because for almost half of the movie, they're both stuck. They're not able to find a way out. But finally, they do. They reach to that place. They reach to the room. There's a cabinet. where there are all those plugs and wires and even the skeleton of the inventor. So the story and all the things that happen in the story is very symbolic of how people get stuck in the materialistic world. And if you look at the divine masculine's part of life, which is the matrix reality, he or she, like as in the gender doesn't matter, the energy of masculine, divine masculine, it is not even divine masculine till a time, certain period of time, because he or she, they're not ready to be divine. They are just masculines and feminines at a certain period of, till a certain period of time. So that's because they're stuck in the materialistic gibberish, materialistic nonsense, materialistic illusion. They keep running after it. They keep thinking this will make them happy. The job or that karmic marriage. Karmic marriage is not meant for twin flames. And I'll tell you why the feminines don't get into a relationship after that. Like some of the feminines have told me that, oh, my karmic is having a great time. He's married to someone or he's engaged to someone. But I am not. It's not that you are not doing it because you can't do it. Of course, you can also get into a karmic marriage, or you can get into a karmic fling or a relationship. How big is it to download a dating application and get someone to, do whatever? There is no big deal about it. But you don't do it because you've done it before. The divine masculine and feminine are different because the feminine reaches to divine masculine after being tired of all these things. So she just wants the real deal. But when the masculine is not ready, she feels that if I do all of this all over again, then what's the point? Maybe some of them have not been into some kind of, sexual relationships or some kind of addictive patterns. So they would probably do a fling, or they would get into a karmic situation, but they would come out of it soon. Or they will get the lesson that they cannot do it, even if they try it, even if they want it badly. And I know many of you will agree with this on this also. That even if you want to be with the karmic, even if you want to have a fling, you go to a club thinking that you'll have a fling or you'll have a one night stand, but you come back and you're like, oh shit, oh God, what am I supposed to do? I can't do this. It's not possible. Even when you're into it, for example, you finally tried it out, you're into it, but you can't do it because you have lived in toxic relationships. You have been in romantic situations where you're giving presents and cards and going out for dates, but you know how hollow and shallow and deep you feel within. It's just like all those wealthy, opulent, famous people feel. And then they have to put a lot of alcohol, put a lot of drugs inside themselves, put a lot of branded clothes, they actually need to taste unconditional love. But when you go so far into materialistic things, it's very difficult to make a U-turn and come back. That's why they try to show to others that they are perfect. But they are not perfect because there's no such thing as perfection. There is no such thing as perfection. That is the beauty of planet Earth. There is nothing is perfect, So any which way, now I just want to wrap this up quickly. After saying all of this, he mentions that when he gets into the building as a superintendent, which is otherwise his girlfriend thinks it's a temporary job, but when he gets into it, he is very happy initially because he thinks that now he can work on his experiment and he'll get all the space that he was looking for. He was wanting to make a time machine any which way, right? So it's an interesting plot otherwise also. So he says, when we moved here, you thought I would be working only as a building's keeper, something temporary. But I never told you the truth. I was so close and I had to finish my experiment and I thought it was best to hide it. So he doesn't tell the divine feminine, his feminine, that, he's a scientist or he's making a time machine and he's doing it and he's hiding it. So, and everything seemed perfect. So this is how most masculines feel. They feel when they get into some kind of a karmic trap, they feel it's perfect. They don't want to tell the feminine. They don't even, most of them just ignore the calls. Like a lot of people have told me, they just ignore calls. They just stop talking because they feel that this is too intense. I can't deal with this right now. I just want to be happy. I just want to have fun. So why don't I be with someone who's going to give me all that fun? So they get into it thinking it's perfect. The building with the next line is a building with the infrastructure I needed to complete the journey. So that building or that infrastructure, these are all karmic entanglements and templates. I continued with my experiment, but I got so obsessed that I was unable to tell you. You used to say that couples should tell everything to each other. As always, you were right. So a lot of masculines, when they actually come back, when they make a U-turn, it's because they've been in a karmic entanglement. They've been really unhappy. They've been extremely frustrated and upset. And some of them have actually spent a good amount of time in the karmic entanglements, just hoping that maybe some part of it will be unconditional love. But they know that the way the feminine has loved them or the feminine felt for them was unconditional. And by the time the feminine is out of it, all this trap and loop, she realizes that she was totally obsessed with the masculines, the masculine. Like all of you feminines with the masculines, all of you masculines. So the feminines realized that she was obsessed. She was like a person who's just, like a crazy teenager who's obsessing about some movie star or some boy, or just thinking about him constantly thinking, what is he doing, what is he eating, where is he going, stalking them every day, just waking up in the morning, checking their Facebook or their WhatsApp, what are the updates, what have they put, where are they going, what are they up to, who are they with right now. Even when they are dating this person, they are very enamored by this person. So all of this is obsession. So somehow the masculine sees this obsession or feels this obsession when they are into something, this karmic entanglement. They understand that he or she, they are obsessed. So then the note is, you used to say the couples, it's actually a tape, not a note. So there's an audio tape that he had made for his feminine. You used to say that couples should tell everything to each other. As always, you were so right. If I had told you, you would have convinced me to forget it, and I wouldn't be here right now. And actually, feminines do that. A lot of feminines, they try to convince the masculines because they see it coming. Most of you who have been in relationships, a proper, typical relationship with the masculine, you tell the masculine that, look, all these materialistic things, they are stupid. All these things that you're running after, or all your addictions, they are illusions. Don't do it. We have beautiful relationship here. You and me are perfect. We are happy together. So just let's live this life. And he's like, no, what's wrong with you? Why you talk like this? This is stupid. And then half of the time he's tilting towards it. He sees that, oh, she's so happy. So this runner-chaser dynamic is also for the divine masculine to understand that each time the feminine goes away from him, she is not unhappy. She is not somebody stupid or crazy or psychotic as how he projects her to be. Actually, he's unhappy, he's miserable, and she's happy. She's living her life, she's enjoying. So separation is actually doing good for her, he feels. Initially, for a good amount of time, the feminine thinks that he is happy, but he's not. Actually, he is not happy. And then when he realizes that I have dumped her, I have moved on from her, I treated her so badly, I even ignored her number of times, or I chose someone over her while she was there, while she was watching it all, and she must have felt horrible, she must have felt painful, because he feels that pain while being in the karmic entanglements. And when the feminines move on, they detach themselves from this whole masculine dance, this runner chaser, and they surrender completely to source, to God, to universe, to unconditional love. They are extremely happy. So in the runner chaser dynamic also this happens, but it's not a long term thing. It comes and it goes, it comes and it goes, and she still doesn't know, even she's like doing an experiment. So he is, this particular masculine is telling that feminine of his that I made a mistake and I wish I had told you, but because if I would have told you, you would have stopped me. How does he know that she would have stopped him? Because she must have said something on those lines to him. So now he's regretting that, I was so trapped in this and I didn't even stop and I didn't tell her. And now I'll read the next part. But I got so obsessed that I was unable to tell you. You used to say that couples should tell everything to each other. As always, you were so right. If I had told you, you would have convinced me to forget it and wouldn't be here right now. I would be home with you. Home. Now, home is a very important word because this word has actually taken my attention all throughout the ascension journey. I always used to wonder, what is this home? The first time I read about this home thing was when I was still in hostel. I was 15 years old, and there was a girl, and outside her door, because when you're a hosteler, when you're living away from family, you are trying to get that feeling of home, but you're living with so many strangers, you're still a child, you feel so unloved at times, you wake up in the morning, you have to eat at the mess, your parents are not around you, and sometimes it's very lonely and sad out there. So I saw this poster on somebody's room outside the door. It said, "Home is where the heart is." And I have to say that it really hit me hard at that time. I was so young, at the age of 15, you're a teenager. And imagine, after all these years, I'm still talking about it. I remember it such a vivid memory. And I really looked at that quote for a long time. Every time I used to pass from that corridor, from that room of hers, or meet that girl, she was a friend of mine, I would look at those lines, that poster, "Home is where the heart is." And I started wondering, where is home and where is heart? Where is my heart right now? Is my heart here? I don't think so. Am I happy when I'm with my family? I'm not sure. Because when you're with the family, you're enjoying for a certain period of time, but then you want to meet your friends. Then you want to be free. You don't want to get scolded every time, and you're like, oh, I wish I was in hostel right now. And then you grow up, and then you find a job, and then you try to make your own place in life. But it's obviously a constant struggle to find a place called home, right? And I experienced this when I lived as a hippie, and I met a lot of other travelers from the world who had their huge backpacks, and some of them were traveling for 8 months, 9 months, 10 months. One of the guy was traveling for, 3, 4 years or 5 years. There are even people who do it every year. Like when I lived in Goa at that time, I met a lot of these Russians and a lot of these people from other countries. They said that this is my 6th season here, this is my 7th season here. So basically they were spending, every year they spend one season in this place. Why? Because it felt like home. And places where there's winter and there's no sunlight, they like these beaches. And especially Goa, because it's a very free place in India. There are so many places in India like that. There's Manali, there's Goa, there is all these South India, Kerala. Then you have the mountains. Even Nepal is a beautiful country. A lot of hippies like to come there. Why? Because all the hippies they're looking for home. They're looking for a comfortable place in beautiful, picturesque nature. Something, when you look outside your room, you feel, such a beautiful place. So they are looking for this beauty. And I remember another conversation we had once with a group of people. A lot of us, we used to play those games, like answer the questions. We used to meditate together. You form these groups when you meet people. You don't stay in touch with them forever. Some of them you do, most of them you don't. But the time you are there with them, you're constantly interacting. So we used to talk about all these things. And so I remember one day everyone was saying, hey, if you would ever want to get a permanent house somewhere, which country would it be or which place would it be? So people were taking turns to answer it. And somebody said Barcelona, somebody said Pokhara, Nepal, somebody said someplace in India, somebody said someplace in America, because I've heard that America also has some beautiful landscapes, some beautiful places, farmlands. So somebody said this, that, and different people gave different answers. Finally, my turn came, and I don't want to sound like a person who's praising a wonderful answer that she gave. But to be honest, when I gave that answer, I did have a lot of pain in my heart as well. And after that, certain things happened in my life which actually made me learn the lesson that people, place, and situations don't make you happy. Home is not in people, place, and situations. I learned this from practical experience. So that day when they asked me this question, I said that I don't know which place would be my permanent home and which place is beautiful, but wherever I live, wherever I am, whichever time frame I am in, I want that place to be my home. I want to feel at home everywhere. And everyone was like, oh, what a beautiful answer, what a profound answer. And I was like, yeah. I mean, I said it, I really felt it, because I was thinking in my head that for last 3 months, I'm in this beautiful place, but I'm not completely happy. I'm eating the best food. I'm swimming in the lake. There are cold water streams everywhere. You are walking in the jungles. You have all these hippie friends around you, who are enjoying life, or I don't know, they're spiritual people too. So, but still, why am I not happy? And right after this, one of my teacher had called me. I don't know how he called me suddenly. Imagine, just after this conversation, he called me and he said that, I feel that you have achieved something in your ascension journey. I said, what is that? And how do you feel it? Like, you're so far from me. What made you call me today only? Why not yesterday? Why not? He said, I don't know, but I just feel it, that you have achieved something. I said, okay, honestly, I don't know what I've achieved, but I think I'm living in paradise. And then he said to me, his answer was that there is no paradise in a place, in a situation, or in a person. And you will find that out by experience. And I was like, I think I'm already experiencing it. I don't know why you called me up today, but I am actually contemplating the same things. That am I really truly happy here? I was happy that I was meditating, but I realized that, do I always need to go to a retreat, or do I always need to go somewhere to meditate or to feel at home? Why can't I feel this way all the time in a same place, like in any place? And then you won't believe, just a week after that, I got a call from my family that my father is very sick and he could be suffering from cancer. And it really shook me. Like, before that, I was still like happy, living in paradise and blah, blah, blah. And then I realized that in 1 minute, in one phone call, this place has turned into hell, because all I wanted to do is just reach back home, just get a flight, or somehow just go back home and meet my father. That's it. My paradise was with my father at that time. Being with my father was my paradise. And the moment I heard that he's unwell, everything seemed dark, and the same people I used to hang out with all the time, those friends, I didn't want to spend even 5 minutes with them. And they were like, hey, what happened to you? I was like, I don't know. I can't just be here anymore. So this is a practical example of, and then even when you think that, like a divine masculine or a divine feminine, especially for divine feminines, this will fall true, that you actually think that the divine masculine is going to make you happy, that by being with the divine masculine, you'll form a paradise. Only when you're in separation, and only when he hurts you, and only when he walks all over you, tramples over you, you realize that this is not even love. I mean, he didn't even love my soul. He didn't even know who I am. He's just misunderstanding me constantly. Anytime, anything I say, even if I tell him that I love you for who you are, he doesn't take it in a positive way. What am I supposed to do? Should I bang my head against the wall? And then he chooses somebody else or something else over me. So this type of heartbreak or this type of soul shock gives you a lot of perspective. And in this case, in this particular tape, it is the masculine who's the runner here. So there are two types of runners they have shown. The girl, the protagonist who's in the lift with her boyfriend, she was the runner because she had run away before and they had mentioned about it. And the runner was this guy who was doing the invention. So they've shown a man and a female, like male, both genders, to be runners and chasers. Now coming back to this, he says, as always, you were so right. If I had told you, you would have convinced me to forget it. And I wouldn't be here right now. I would be home with you. I really miss you. If you ever listen to this tape, I want you to know it. I'm sorry, I lied to you. You are what I need the most in the world. So yes, there is a sad story over here. There's a feeling that they never got to meet. But I was thinking later on when I got the whole symbolism of this story right, I thought that, dude, this guy created a time machine. He was traveling in a time machine. He obviously knew something. I'm sure, in some reality he would have met the girl too. I hope so, And then these two people, they learned from his story. His invention, his loop, his time machine made them realize that they can only get out of this loop when they're together. So a lot of you, even if you're thinking you're not together, you gotta think that you're together. You gotta believe you're together. You gotta feel that you're together. And you don't have to feel it only with the divine masculine. You have to feel it with the source. Once you're together with the source, once you've integrated with the source, you will start feeling unconditional love. You'll start feeling one love. This one love that I say is not just to say it. It actually exists. And it actually is a beautiful place to be in. And I'm not going to give you some kind of a illusion or something, because I'm not going to say that it's going to be a bed of roses. I'm saying that even if there will be problems and challenges and situations, you would still be very content because you'll have gratitude. And when you surrender, you don't feel so tired. You don't feel so worked up. You don't want to fake anything. You'll just be so real, like a child. I look at children, or I look at the animals like dogs and cats. Some of them are so like they remind you of innocence and childlike qualities. And that's why people are drawn towards their pets. I mean, dogs are the best in that way. Like, even if you shout and scream at them, even if you just, give them a little ass whooping sometimes when they do all the crazy things, it won't take them more than 2 minutes to come back to you. Forget 2 minutes. In 2 seconds, they will forget it and they will love you the same way. That is the magic of unconditional love. They teach it to us. They teach us loyalty. They teach us compassion. They teach us forgiveness. And you won't have to be with toxic people. Toxic people will move away from you, or you won't be so worked up with them, Toxic people are toxic only till the time you are getting worked up by them. Even masculines, like they say to the feminines, I don't love you, go away from my life, I will never see you again, I'll never marry you, or I'll never be with you, you're this, you're that. Till the time the feminine takes it personally, she suffers. But when she stops taking it personally and she realizes that that's his ego talking, because I rubbed him the wrong way, I triggered him, or I challenged him in some way, he could not take it. So he asked me to go away. Okay, fine, I'll go away. But if someone is sitting about you, even when they're sitting inside a cave, 2,000 miles away from you, that is unconditional love. They cannot go away from you. And they realize it, they understand it, that running away is futile. But they cannot understand this till the time you stop chasing them, till the time you don't surrender 100%. They can never feel like that, because the moment you surrender, even you drop all these notions of love, all the fake notions about love, romance. Like, he has to do this for me, he has to buy me flowers, you have to move in together, we need to live under the same roof to feel unconditional love. No, that's all bogus nonsense. That's what these people show to you. That's what these reality shows, which are not real, reality shows or movies or romantic novels and rom-coms and comedies about love. They try to make fun of love also, but they don't understand it at all, I think, in the romantic comedies also, because eventually they are doing the same thing. All of them, they want the happy ending. If you noticed, all romantic movies, they end up in a place where the feminine or the masculine characters have gotten married or engaged, or there's a happy ending. The actual life, the actual relationship starts after that only. And that will be having arguments and difficulties and differences, so many things happen in a relationship where there is lack of harmony or there's lack of acknowledgement. When you are in love with people, then you see the real side of them. When you are going out for dates, both people are dressed up well, both are having perfume, their hair is so nicely done, shoes, clothes, you're looking so nice and perfect. It's only when you wake up next to each other and you have to go and brush your teeth, or your hair is all messy, you look like horrible at that time. Or I don't want to say people look horrible when they wake up, but as compared to that image, that people project. Like in movies, they show that the actress is waking up in the morning all decked up, all lipstick and eyeliner and all everything is in place. Like, who wakes up like that? I mean, I know people who wake up in the morning and they're glowing. I like people when they wake up in the morning, they're so messy. You know, the hair is messy or the clothes are messy. That's also beautiful, isn't it? That's real. That's natural beauty, right? Men or women. But there are some people who don't think that to be beautiful. They think it's horrible to wake up like that. So the first thing in the morning they want to do is they just want to dress up. They just want to be like, no one should see me like this. No one should look at my face like this. Why? So when you don't love yourself in all your natural states and forms, it's also fun to be doing makeup or wearing nice clothes or dressing up. You know, people in the forest, they do that. They, put all the flowers around them, the garlands. It's amazing to be happy and to look good. But that is one part of you. And waking up in the morning with your hair messed up, with your, pajamas on, or your shorts, your boxer shorts, I don't know, whatever you can wear. Your mouth is not smelling so nice, and your body odor, it's not like you have applied some perfume when you wake up in the morning. But in the movies, in the novels, they show it like that. And the beauty, the physical beauty is the priority. It's like prime importance, physical beauty. Even the actor and the actresses or the male protagonists, the characters, when they fall in love with each other, they always mention physical beauty. Oh, your beautiful lips. Oh, my honey, your beautiful hair. Oh, your beautiful, charming smile. Oh, the way you look at me. They don't even talk about other things. Like, I'm sure everyone farts. I'm sure everyone in relationships, they go to the washroom every morning, or they have to take a bath every morning, or when they have cold, they have a running nose, or so many things, right? You sneeze, you cough. These are also parts of you. And I'm not saying it because someone is like, ew, don't talk about that. I know a lot of people say, ew, don't talk about that. And I go like, why? Why can't you talk about it? So every single aspect of you is beautiful. But in these romantic stories or the low frequency love, this type of love that people portray in the materialistic world, they just cannot accept the person in their real state, natural state, and they just want some kind of perfect beauty. So all of that goes out of the window when you're in ascension journey. You gotta love the dark shadows, you gotta love the pain bodies, you gotta love the traumas, you gotta love the wounded inner child, you gotta love the wounded inner child so much. Comfort the wounded inner child, put balm, apply medicine on its wound. Let it heal, sit with them, talk to them, discuss. Why do you feel so bad about that person who sexually abused you? Or why do you feel bad about that person who physically assaulted you? Why do you feel bad about the people who bullied you in school and college? Or why do you think about those people who made fun of you? Fun of the way you walk, fun of the way your hair is, or that you're a nerd, or that you look a certain way. Some people are actually mocked for being perfect, or not perfect, I would say, for being talented or for being good, because they feel that everyone is jealous of them. Like some popular kids, I would like to say, and I don't mean popular by PR machinery. Some are naturally gifted, some are naturally talented, right? They are popular in school or in college. And because of that, they don't have many friends because people are envious of them, they're jealous of them. So there are people who are ordinary and they get trouble because of that. There are people who are extraordinary and they get trouble because of that. There are people who get bullied for not having any talents, and there are people who are bullied for having talents. There are people who are bullied for being beautiful. There are people who are bullied for being ugly. There are cultures where dark skin is beautiful, white skin is not. There are cultures where white skin is beautiful and dark skin is not. So there are contradictions all over earth. And whichever template you choose to be in, you will see that your own template will be requiring a lot of healing work. So on that note, I would be closing this channeling to mention once again that you do this together. You do this together without even realizing it. You do your part, you do your bit, and you will contribute in this journey. So in the end, the message was very loud and clear. reason why we are in a twin flame journey, because we need to heal the anima and animus, the masculine and feminine within. We need to heal both. And we cannot do it without getting the triggers. So triggers actually help us. So one love and peace out.